Hello! The winner of the 2025 International Booker Prize is going to be announced this evening, but I don't know what book has won yet because, as you can probably tell from me being all dressed up, I'm about to head out to the ceremony itself, and I feel very lucky to have been invited to this. So I'm going to make a vlog and take you along with me and show you some behind-the-scenes stuff and all the excitement and atmosphere of the ceremony itself, and my reaction to the winner, whatever author and translator that may be. Now, what book is going to win this year's award? I made a video last week discussing my reaction to all of the books on the shortlist and guessing who I think is going to win. But I want to emphasize, and I say this with every book prize season, it doesn't matter so much to me what book wins. I mean, it's great for the author and translator and the publisher, but to me, it's all about the pleasure of discovering books that I might not have read otherwise. And I definitely discovered some excellent ones through this prize season, but it's also about the pleasure of discussing these books with other readers and comparing our reactions to it and getting more insight into these books from discussing them with other readers. And I think this is really important because I'm sure you, like me and many people, have been very disturbed by world news lately. And I think it's so important to get an insight and understanding into other cultures and nations and people from around the world through literature like this, rather than just through the news and images in the media, to gain a real sense of connectedness, which we don't often get through those mediums. And so I think the International Prize is particularly important at this time of the world that we find ourselves in. And it's been so fascinating hearing people discuss the content of these books and how they relate to the world today and how they affect people personally. And we have had so many different reactions to these books. So for me personally, I'm rooting for Under the Eye of the Big Bird to win, although I suspect that Small Boat will probably actually be the winner. So Small Boat is my prediction, but my hope is for Under the Eye of the Big Bird. But really, I'm very glad to see on the calculation of volume or perfection win. I mean, I had much more muted reaction to a Leopard-Skin Hat and Heart Lamp, but just in the past 24 hours, I've seen multiple people championing these books and praising them, and so yeah, it's been so great getting other people's reactions. And I think with the books that are listed for this year's prize, it is especially difficult to predict what book may win and which way the judges might go. And of course, the judges have read all of these books multiple times, and so will likely have a very different perspective than readers like me who have just read these books or started to read some of these books just once. But we will find out very soon, and I'm going to head off now to the ceremony and show you what I can. But this is really exciting and wonderful. I'm almost at the venue now, but I just wanted to take a moment and show you what an absolutely lovely evening it is in London. So I'm here by the Thames. You can see St. Paul's there behind me, and then you can see the city in the distance, and then you can see the Tate Modern where the ceremony is taking place. And I forgot to say this when I was making my introduction, but I also did a really fun thing yesterday where I went to Foyles Bookshop, the Big Foyles in London, where they are having a special display of the International Booker Prize and its past winners. So it was really fun browsing through this and seeing all different books that I've read in past seasons. And they had a special table set up of some of the books in their original language. So those were fun to flip through as well. So it was a really special trip down memory lane. But now I am heading into the party. So I'm here at the ceremony, and who do I find right off but the gorgeous Anton Hur, one of the judges of this year's prize. So just been chatting to him about the process. How have you found judging this year's prize?
Emotionally fraught. It's a lot, yeah. I did not expect it to be more emotionally taxing to judge the prize than to be, shortlisted for it. But excuse me. Yeah, it has been like you can see the acid reflux coming up. Yeah, it was a lot, but I'm glad that we went through it, and I'm very, very happy with the results that are about to be announced.
Yeah, well, you should be very proud of the list you've concocted because, there's so many great discoveries of books that I probably wouldn't have read otherwise. And or, just wouldn't have got around to them because there's just
so many books come out, right?
They do.
Yeah. And I think we had just one from a big five on the long list. They were all from independent publishers, and we're very proud of that. And shorter books. That was not intentional, but that kind of turned out to be something that apparently publishers are doing now. And so that was really nice because I'm from an Asian language, so we have a lot of short books. So read more, publish more novellas. Please, industry, if you're watching, which I know you are,
And so what are your plans next? Are you writing yourself, your own fiction? Are you working on translation or both, or going on holiday and taking a break after this big long process?
Well, I have one more duty as a judge to do, and that's to appear with whoever wins on the Hay Festival stage. So that's happening in a couple of days. But after that, oh God, I'm just gonna take summer off. We're moving in the summer, so I'm going to be preparing for that.
Big process. Well, thank you so much, and I'm really excited to see who wins later on. So
thank you for coming. It's so nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, really great to finally meet after communicating online for quite a while.
For forever.
Yay, exciting.
Ceremony will begin very shortly. Thank you.
Apologies to any arachnophobes among you. I now feel the International Booker Prize has been blessed by Maman, the formidable giant spider created by the great Franco-American artist Louise Bourgeois. We're gathered gratefully at an institution that describes itself as the home of great art from around the world. And we're doing so in celebration of 6 writers and 6 translators. It means something, I think, that more and more people are reading in translation. If I might briefly share a personal experience, I moved to this country from Mexico City at the age of 10. It was not massively welcoming. At the time, this was the sort of background that was described as exotic. But it isn't. I know this is true of many, if not all of you. You are made of multinational parts, you have connections beyond these shores, or you're here because ideas from elsewhere have already entered the fabric of your minds. During the lifespan of this prize, we've seen that habit become firmly entrenched in the global mainstream, with translated fiction joining world music, TV and film in their globe-spanning popularity. The way we think of this prize, or these prizes together, is when the International Booker Prize is paired with its sibling, the Original Booker Prize. The combination offers Anglophone readers a selection of the best fiction written or translated by anyone, anywhere in the world.
So today I cheesecake with apples.
Hello everyone. Hope you've enjoyed your dinner. I'm very pleased to welcome 4 members of the International Booker 2025 judging panel to the stage. Caleb Febby, Beth Orton, Sana Goyle, Anton Hur, and you'll be hearing from our chair, Max Porter, in a little while. Now, the judges for the Booker Prizes have a huge array of talents, but above all more than anything, they have to be demon readers. It's one of the unique characteristics of both these prizes that every judge considers every book. So between August, when they started reading, and February, when they chose their long list of 13, these judges have read 154 books. Now, Caleb, you are a writer yourself. You're a filmmaker, a photographer. You've been a teacher in a past life. Why do you think humans need stories?
I think the very essence of humanity lies in our stories. First of all, our personal stories that we have, it's our receipt of our existence, right? Through stories, we can understand one another, we can process our histories, our past, we can imagine better futures as well.
How interesting. Better futures and our past. So, Beth, you are a songwriter, you're a musician. In fact, Beth will be performing right after this. But how as a musician, how does that affect the way you hear literature when you're reading it?
Thanks. I have come to realize through this process that making music is very unconscious. And I'm not a natural born reader. I don't have a formal education. I feel very overwhelmed at the idea of judging other people's work. But I found that I made quite quick, well, you have to read quick, right? And I found I would form opinions and ideas around the book that possibly are quite similar to the way I write songs, in that I don't write knowing what the chords are necessarily or what the melody or the words are going to be. They just come out. And I think I made the same kind of connections to other people's work in that similar way. And I think that music hones the intuition and the unconscious. And yeah, so I learned...
That was noticeable in the meetings, that was the kind of writing that you were drawn to.
Yeah.
So it speaks to you in a way.
It's incredible, and it's been doing this has taught me about how I write as much as trying to understand how other people write, and it's just been mind-blowing. Plus the fact that music, of course, speaks beyond culture. It's in its very nature. I'm always working with people from everywhere, and we don't talk about it necessarily or think about it. It's just what we do, and suddenly we're crossing cultures without language, and suddenly I'm understanding how writers cross cultures with language. And it's beautiful, and it's been incredibly inspiring, and I'm very grateful to have been part of this.
Great border crossings. Well, Sana, you're a critic and editor. You're the publishing director of Wasafiri, which celebrated its 40th anniversary last year. Between you and I, everyone, Sana is probably the best read person in this room. What did this experience teach you about the state of translated fiction in the UK and Ireland today?
I have 90 seconds. It taught me that a lot of, I encountered a lot of new languages and a lot of new presses and first-time translators and work coming into English for the first time through the process. And to that end, I want to give a really huge shout out to independent presses in this room, in the larger industry. And also, it made me learn a bit more about other organizations and individuals, and smaller prizes and small magazines and grant-giving bodies and English Pen, who are doing a lot of that kind of crucial work behind the scenes, a lot of that risk-taking, taking a chance on writing from around the world, and that was great. I think we're in a good place. I think we can talk about all the amazing things we've achieved, but I also think there's a really long way to go, particularly in terms of translators' rights and better royalties and better visibility and naming the translator and putting their names on the covers of books. And I think together we've come this far, and I think we just have a little long to go now as well, and we should keep going in that direction.
Well, talking of translators, as you all know, the prize money for the International Booker Prize is divided equally between the author and the translator. And in recognition of that, over the past 10 years, we have always had a professional translator on the panel. Now, Anton, you've been long-listed and shortlisted for the International Booker Prize for your translations. Since 2016, we've had books submitted that have been translated from 75 languages. Now, here's something I've always wanted to know, and I think probably many in this room would like to too. No panel can be familiar with all the languages that are submitted, or the translations from all the languages that are submitted. So if you don't speak the original language, how can you tell whether a book is well translated or not?
I wrote a novel called Toward Eternity, where an AI is taught to appreciate poetry. And that's because ChatGPT may be able to write poetry, but it will never be able to appreciate poetry. Similarly, when we read a translation, we can tell when the translator appreciated the source material, original work, or not. Because if they don't appreciate it, then you have these weird non sequiturs, these sentences that don't quite connect to each other or cohere in a logical or emotionally logical way. However, if the translation is good, then all of the sentences just connect in this magical moment where the text just begins to just sing and sing. And so I am of the belief that you can totally tell whether a book has been well translated or badly translated. Also, it is my husband's birthday today, so please wish him at table 23 a happy birthday.
Well, time is pressing on. Thank you, judges, for everything. In a few minutes. Thank you, judges, for everything. I think we should give them a really big hand, not least for reading those 154 books. Now, in a few minutes, Beth Orton will be back singing for us.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say, because I'm allowed to, because I got a microphone, thank you to Max Porter for being the most incredible chair, and so generous, and just giving so much space to people to speak and give their feelings and have their feelings heard. So thank you, Max. So much stays unknown till the time has come. Did you imagine it could ever feel so numb? You know your fear when it turns into relief. You walk away from that and that comes, it's all belief. Tears don't come to cry, grief fade away. Tears, they come and they keep your need at bay. My mother told me just before she died, My mother told me just before she died. She said, darling, darling, don't you be like me. Don't you break your heart over any old man you meet. And I said, mother, mother, this song will never know the love that you have instilled in my soul. She said, come on now, child, we're here just a little while. Come on now, child, we're here just a while. So much desire, all the time we are strong. Did you imagine you could ever be so strong? You know your pain when it turns into relief, and you walk away from doubt and that becomes its own belief. And tears don't come to cry your grief fade away, but the tears they come and they keep your need at bay. She said, come on now, child, we're here just a little while. She said, come on now, child, you're here just a while. She said, come on now, child, we're here just a while. She said, come on now, child, you're here just a while. Go ahead for a while, go ahead, go and find what makes you smile. Go ahead for a while, go and find what makes you smile. 'Cause the pain will pass, and time this will pass, and time this will pass. The pain's gonna pass, and time will pass, and time this will pass. Lay your memory low, but the pain will pass. Lay your memory low, but the pain will pass.
Well, that was the moment you've all been waiting for. Thank you, Beth. But here comes the second moment you've been waiting for. The chair of this year's judges is about to announce the winner of the International Booker Prize 2025. Please welcome the magnificent Max Porter.
I find myself oddly moved. I can't think why, Beth. Thank you. Good evening. My fellow judges and I have been truly honoured to undertake this task and to work with the beloved and brilliant team at the Booker Prizes. Anton, Beth, Caleb, Sana, what a wonderful, complex journey. Thank you for your wisdom, expertise, honesty, and companionship. These 6 extraordinary books are the visible blossom on a plant which has a huge root system. We also want to celebrate tonight the writers, translators and publishers from our groundbreaking long list and from the 154 submitted books. We celebrate the depth and breadth of literary translation publishing today while also acknowledging and relishing the work still to be done and the translators and writers working outside the visible mainstream. We also want to shout out proofreaders, copy editors, typesetters, accountants, agents, assistants, bursary administrators, literary festivals, literacy charities, mentors, publicists, the booksellers hand-selling these books, the journalists reviewing them, the online community spreading the word, the activists trying to make our industry sustainable, fair, ethical, a could go on, but this prize celebrates all of you. Proofreader there. In these dark days, I also want to express solidarity with our peers wherever writers, publishers and arts institutions are under attack, wherever the freedoms we cherish are being eroded, stolen or deliberately destroyed. From the over 200 journalists murdered in Gaza precisely because they are journalists, to Alaa Abdel Fattah, imprisoned in Egypt precisely because he dared to write. To a team of librarians fighting a book ban in Iowa precisely because books challenge power. From Sudan to Ukraine, China, Eritrea, Iran, Turkey, everywhere. Our colleagues and friends of the written word, we stand with you. That's the politics done. Only joking. The five of us started reading these books in the week of the race riots, the racist riots in this country. We are celebrating these novels in translation while far-right MPs are campaigning to ban all translated materials in public spaces. When a Prime Minister says he fears for an island of strangers, his word choice means that nobody can miss the ideas, where he's borrowing them from and what they will mean in practice. If this were fiction, no editor in this room would allow such a caricatured assault on subtlety, truth, morality or meaning. So what does a very beautifully written and expertly translated novel mean in the face of all this? Distraction, for starters. Pleasure. Curiosity. We read for reading's sake, proudly strolling towards the abyss with a tote bag full of books. But these books might also help a person keep faith, not just in art, but in us, in the species. Translated literature is a way of communicating over a border, under a wall, beyond an algorithm's reach. We therefore need it, more than ever, those of us that believe in the migration of people, languages, ideas and feelings. In these books, we search for and find news of the human elsewhere. Sometimes it delights us, but crucially, also it upsets us, as we inevitably upset one another. Books might offer escapism, but we cannot escape. Novels are often described as empathy machines, and that may well be true, but they don't get us off the hook. They cannot be empathetic for us. This curious, special relationship we have with books needs examining, which is one of the things this vital internationalist prize allows its judges and its readers to do. We are invited to think differently. Tonight, the guest of honor is fiction itself. In a world of screaming arguments, fiction holds its ambiguous nerve. It is waiting for its bespoke critical partner, its weird accomplice, you. The novel needs a thoughtful collaborator in order to mean anything, and to mean something completely different every time it is read, and reread, and reread. These 6 books are remystification devices for mindless times. These 6 books are about how we really listen to one another, what we buy, how we style our existence, how we examine what we've inherited, how we deconstruct or luxuriate in the traps we're in, how we forgive, mourn and worship, how we document time or formulate expressions of care, what we do when we're stuck, how terrified, how heartbroken we are, how it feels to lose control or gain it, what it means to be in a body with power or powerless, what it means to be translated from ourselves into the thoughts and feelings of another. Our winning book is profoundly exciting, in the line and across its whole. The decisions the translator makes are radical and generative, and the reader experiences these decisions viscerally. Our winning book shifts our perspective. It teaches us to listen, and it gives voice to the voiceless. The winner of the International Booker Prize 2025 is Heart Lamp by Banu Mushtaq, translated by Deepa Bhasthi.
Good evening, esteemed judges, fellow authors, and beloved readers across the world. If I may borrow a phrase from my own culture, this moment feels like 1,000 fireflies lighting up a single sky, brief, brilliant, and utterly collective. To even stand among these extraordinary finalists is an honor to me. I will never forget, and I accept this great honor not as an individual, but as a voice raised in chorus with so many others. I am happy for the entire world, which is full of diversity and inclusiveness. I am happy for myself and my translator, Deepa Bhasthi. This is more than a personal achievement. It is an affirmation that we as individuals and as a global community can thrive when we embrace diversity, celebrate our differences, and uplift one another. Together, we create a world where every voice is heard, every story matters, and every person belongs. First, to the Broker Prize Committee, thank you for recognizing stories that dare to bridge boards. To my relentless team, my visionary literary agent Kanishka Gupta, who believed in this book before it had a heartbeat, my translator Deepa Bhasthi, who turned my words into bridges, and my publishers, especially Penguin Random House and to other stories, Tara and Stefan, as sailing across languages and borders. This is your victory too, and my family, friends, and readers, you are the soil where my stories grow. This book is my love letter to the idea that no story is local, that a tale born under a banyan tree in my village can cast shadows as far as this stage tonight. To every reader who journeyed with me, you have made my Kannada language a shared home. It is a language that sings of resilience and nuance. To write in Kannada is to inherit a legacy of cosmic wonder and earthly wisdom. This book was born from the belief that no story is ever small, that in the tapestry of human experience, every thread holds the weight of the whole. In a world that often tries to divide us, literature remains one of the lost sacred spaces where we can live inside each other's minds, if only for a few pages. To every reader who trusted me with their time, thank you for letting my words wander into your heart. Tonight is not an end point, it is a torch past. May it light the way for more stories from unheard corners, more translations that defy borders, and more voices that remind us the universe fits inside every eye. Thank you from the depths of my soul. Thank you.
Eldrigu Namaskara. Hello everyone. I'm not sure what just happened. I did not want to jinx our chances of winning by writing a speech, but then I knew if Heart Lamp was called, I would very likely freeze on stage and have the stage fright that I've never had in my life and make an utter fool of myself. So I dared to make some notes, and it's also why I'm reading from my phone instead of from a nice piece of elegant paper. Notes titled just in case. The story of the world, if you really think about it, is a history of erasures. It is characterized by the effacement of women's triumphs and the furtive rubbing away of collective memory of how women and those on the many margins of this world live and love. This prize is a small win in a long, ongoing battle against such violences. Elsewhere, there is erasure in the media and people's understanding of works of literature, of translators, and the work we do to bring what would otherwise be unread, uncelebrated texts to new and very different sets of readers. Which is why it is so heartening that the International Booker celebrates and places both writers and writer-translators on the same page, so to speak. Thank you first and foremost to the International Booker judges for loving these stories and my translation of them. And what a win this is for my beautiful language. Jenina Holeyo, Halina Maleyo, Sudheyo Kannada Savinudiyo goes a song in Kannada. It calls the Kannada language a river of honey, a rain of milk, and compares it to sweet ambrosia. Kannada is one of the oldest languages on earth, and I'm ecstatic that this will hopefully lead to a greater interest in reading and writing and translating more and from the language, and by extension from and into the magical languages we have in South Asia. Thank you to my incredible editor Tara Tobler for sprinkling gold dust over my work. Thank you to the dream team at And Other Stories, to Stefan, to Michael and the others, as also to the wonderful people back home at Penguin Random House India, to Mautushi, Millie and the others. Thank you to my wonderful, wonderful agent Kanishka Gupta for absolutely everything. I think the last few months would have been unmanageable without you. To Priya, Matthew and to Farali, friends, old and new, to Sharanya, thank you for the grace, thank you for the sisterhood. Thank you to my parents, Sudha and Prakash, who don't always understand what I do or why I do what I do, but they cheer me on nonetheless. And most importantly, my husband Nan, the greatest love of my life. I miss you. I so wish he was here tonight. Thank you so much. I don't know what I would have done without you. Thank you, everyone.
What a lovely celebration and ceremony that was. Just as I was leaving the building, I got to chat a bit with author Sarah Collins, who was a judge of last year's prize. And as I passed by Deborah Levy as I was leaving. So it's always really exciting to me going to these events because, you know, authors are kind of like my rock stars. And so it's really exciting seeing them in person. But what a surprise that Heart Lamp won the International Booker. And this is the first book of short stories ever to be shortlisted for the International Booker, and now the very first book of short stories to ever actually win. And it's the first book to be translated from Kannada to win the International Booker. So there are so many exciting things about it. And Banu and Deepa's speeches were so lovely and powerful and moving. And so this is a short story collection that I started reading and I struggled with a bit, but now I'm really enthused to go back to it and read it completely and concentrate on it more. And that, again, is something that I love so much about book prizes, that it really highlights these books that are well worth the time to spend on them. And so, yeah, I was chatting recently with a member of my book club who had read this book and loved it so much. So yes, it definitely had its fans, though I would say it's safe to say it was an outlier for winning this year's prize. So it's fantastic to see this result. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below about the winner. Have you read these stories? Are you interested in reading these stories now? And in my Booker Prize goodie bag, I got a copy of Eurotrash here, which I actually don't have a copy of before, but I've heard really great things about this book from the long list. So I'm looking forward to reading this as well. But I'm going to go catch the train home now. Thank you for following me on this journey and for discussing the prize with me this season. It's been really wonderful, and I hope you're doing well, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.